Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Patient Hodler coming at you with the first ever AMA live stream, and probably no one is in here yet, but it's going to be very interesting. And actually, some things have happened a couple of minutes ago. I think they have just uploaded a Medium article on that, and the burning topic for today will be the disabled accounts. And so that I have everything set up here, I have this article already up. I will show it to you in a second. We have Gitzo in the house. We have, hey Frank, what's up? Vevefam. So some people in here already do Iram. Hello, what's going on? Hit the like button to get the stream a little bit up, please. And hey Demo, what's up? Article is going to having loads of complaints. Yeah, we are going to look at that quickly before we jump into the AMA. During the AMA, to let that happen, I will pull up comments here to that from you guys if you want. But I'm not going to talk in between because it will be confusing. But maybe depending on how it goes, we will come together for an after stream. Timo, what's up? What's up, dude? Welcome back. So most of you I have seen already. So I'm starting to learn all your names for the lives. But yeah, Noah is here. Grüß aus München. Hey, greetings from Munich. He basically said. So I'm sitting in the north of Munich as well, so we are probably only a couple of kilometers from each other. So yeah, welcome. Smash the like button. And let's look at that article quickly. And by the way, everyone who is German here, check out Vevefam. He is in the channel as well. He has a very good stream, does some interviews. And I was on there one time, and hopefully one more time again, maybe after all of this here. But let's look at the article here. So I hope you can see that. I'll pull that up because I'm working currently only with one monitor. So yeah, basically they have released 11 minutes ago, bots and account restrictions, what you need to know. Anti-bot measures, account restrictions, policies and procedures. And it's very funny because people have been waiting for this a couple, like 2 months or so, even banned like 7 days, 70 days, some people. And yeah, so let's just give it a read, and then we go back to the chat and to the comments, but just give this a quick read. There are now more than 1.9 million active monthly users in the Veve app. Respect, almost 2 million. So probably we're already there by now when they wrote this. And whilst the growth popularity of the platform have been incredible, it also brings new challenges. Bot, auto-clicker script, and emulators are used to brazenly attack all digital sales platforms, dampening experience of genuine fans and collectors. Veve has always implemented the highest standards of security to protect both your digital assets and your app experience from nefarious and malicious participants. So I believe that they had the best interest here. I believe that. Whilst this will continue to be an ongoing battle and evolving strategy, we want to provide an update on the effectiveness of these measures to date and additional detail on policies and procedures. So maybe we cannot get to the end of this one, but they are diving here. So any user violating terms and conditions will face account restrictions and could potentially be disabled. Yes, and also the ones that didn't violate terms of use, apparently. Multi-layer bot protection. Veve implements multi-layers of protection, which begin the moment a new account is created. These protections include multiple firewalls alongside autonomous AI manual. So that's what they are doing, okay? By world-class third-party security providers. So I doubt that with maybe they are like considered world-class, but yeah. So I don't know, maybe they overreacted. So many innocent people banned. We know that already. We have 5 more minutes to go through this, so I should have started earlier, but this is out. It's only 10 minutes. To date, more than 300,000 accounts in total have been disabled for botting or similar activities. Yes, and Hopefully only a couple of those are innocent, but from what I see. In addition to identifying and restricting nefarious accounts at drop, giving legitimate fans and collectors a fairer chance of securing their favorite collectibles. For some of the more popular drop, this figure has been as high as 32% of all incoming requests. That is crazy. Like 1/3 has been scooped up by bots, right? So, account restrictions and policies. There is a range of features within Veve that a collector has access to when using the app as intended. As to these features is privilege. So this is crazy. Access to these features is a privilege, not a right of use. And as such, any account that violates terms of use stands to have its access to the features restricted or the account disabled. So I don't think that you can call this only the features only a privilege. Like that's like, oh yeah, you can use sneakers. That is a privilege, okay? But yeah, I don't know. I think that's outrageous to call this only privilege. I mean, we are dumping a lot of money in that. With that, they can grow their company. We are the customers here. Anyways, restricted accounts. Restricted accounts still have access to the collectibles they have purchased, can enjoy them in AR, build showrooms, and show off their collections to friends and family. However, access to the market and the ability to send collectibles and gems to other users not available to restricted account. So, question not answered, because this is the ownership topic here, right? Okay, when you create your Veve account, you also agree to adhere to our terms of use. If you have violated these terms in a manner that is equivocally proven nefarious, such as using a bot script, emulator, auto-clicker, or anything of a similar nature, your account will be disabled. Fair enough. If that's proven, they have to prove that. They didn't prove it to the people though. So yeah, understanding account restriction. Before we dive into potential red flags, we want to take a moment to remind everyone that is using bot script emulator is not the only action that will cause you to account to be restricted in Veve, as this may be causing some confusion. So failing to pay for an auction within the specified time period, 12 hours after the auction has ended, will see your account restricted from market for 72 hours. Okay, I didn't know that. New accounts are also restricted from the market for the first 72 hours. Okay. Scamming. We take reports of scam activity very seriously, and our community is assured in reporting them to us. Technically, any transaction that has taken place outside of the Veve app is not only against terms of use, but it may also lead to account restrictions where there is a legitimate dispute or scam report. So this is crazy, because they know that like people like Ray Fixie and they do that all the time, right? Transactions outside of the app, and then you have other people that don't, and they get restricted. So our policy, we have 2 minutes. Any obvious and provable accounts that are using bot script, emulator, or otherwise in an attempt to gain an unfair advantage during Veve drops will be disabled. With all of our bot protections in place, a small number of false positives, still a high number, even if it's less than 1%, that there's thousands of people, are likely to occur. Where we cannot unequivocally prove nefarious activities, there is a system in place to re-enable your account as soon as possible. Yeah, 70 days, 50 days. Ask Deftic Herb on Twitter or the other guy that posted that. And we are working hard to speed this process up. That's a good thing. Speed that process up. However, please keep in mind, thousands of accounts can be disabled, restricted during drops. Yeah, we saw that yesterday. Like everyone that tried to get a comic and hit that button hard get like a 2-hour timeout or something like that. And people like Omi the Clown got reinstated then. Okay, we got quickly through that. There's a little bit more, but now we shall see if that space is already up here. I don't know. Is that already up here? I don't know. Okay. So it's not. I cannot join. Can you guys already join that space, or is that not available yet? Anyways, so we're working hard to. Okay. Please head to Help Veve and open a ticket, providing any necessary details for the issue. So people did that, and it took them 50. Yeah, okay. It's on. It's on. It's on. It's on. Okay, let me see if I can join here. I mean, you see my screen, so I don't. Okay, now we listen. Please tell me if you can hear everything once I'm in there. Let me know if you can listen, if you can hear good. Okay. Let me check if I can get it up here. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know how to get the sound from that AMA on here. If anyone has an idea or knows the program, then please help.
I have no idea. I have no idea how to set that up. So guys, you have to listen into the direct Twitter space. I have no idea how to get the sound on that. Okay. If anyone has an idea how to set that up, maybe.
Sums that up. Just on with the restricted accounts and the false positives, we have been working very hard internally.
Can you hear that?
Really streamline that process as much as we can. I know there have been users out there that have had their accounts restricted for some time, and again, we really do apologize for that. We have systems in place now to really help us identify whether you are a bot or whether you are, potentially a false positive. So we will. You can expect that if your account does end up getting flagged for whatever reason, that the wait times will be significantly shorter now to get your account back to normal. Yeah, and look, I think it's probably important to just mention, and I'm sure people understand this, but when we do this wave of bot banning, and there are false positives, every bot account also then goes and creates scripts, sends us the same ticket 1,001 times. So dissecting the genuinely affected accounts from the scam accounts isn't a small feat. And obviously those things do create quite a bit of lead time in responding. But as you mentioned, we are forever refining the system to cut down on those wait times and the reasons. And on that, obviously, we do have a new drop model coming in, which will also help to stem.
I don't know if the quality is good.
Do you want to
tell me?
Just explain that again, Dan, for people who may not have heard it? Yeah. So as we've discussed in previous AMAs, we're moving to a waiting room type drop model. The current drop model has obviously been very fun and exciting up till now, but as we start to get so many more users and the competition becomes so much higher during the drop, we want to move to a system that's a little bit more fair. And so the way it'll work, similar to other platforms out there like NBA Top Shop, for example, you will basically, if you want to participate in a drop, you will join the waiting room, and then at the time of drop, anyone in that waiting room will potentially be randomly selected to secure the drop. So it's not going to come down to how fast you hit that buy now button, or whether you're using the latest massage gun that vibrates at 5,000 repetitions a minute. It's going to be a lot more sort of fair across the board. For sure. And we also obviously have the Master Collector Program and Omi Utility that will come in, and there are going to be a few other tiers and ways that we can kind of stem this tide in that. Is that correct? Sorry, say that again. I cut out for a second. Sorry. We also have the Master Collector Program that will roll out and help to differentiate between these legitimate accounts, or at least the ones that have been around for a while. Things like that. Yeah. I don't know if you want to cover that in more detail now. Or? Yeah, I'll just touch on it now. I mean, with the Master Collector Program and other features that we've got coming in, I think as we've discussed earlier, we really are going to be rewarding those users who are active participants in the within Veve, and that means if you are opening up a new account, or you're like a low-level market collector, then there will be certain limitations on what you can do, and this is all going to feed into how we can make these drops more fair.
Yeah, definitely gives us a more holistic approach there to continue rewarding collectors, as we say, and people that are using the platform as intended. And obviously, the Omi Utility will also help with that, or at least give collectors an extra chance if you're wagering points or Omi tokens on drops as well. So really, the system is designed to encourage people who are using the app correctly and give them incentives and a better opportunity to land these drops. So once that's all live, it will all feed into this holistic system, really. Now, on that, we will take community questions, basically, and we will keep that focus there, but we'll just drop a few quick updates on what's been going on. And obviously, last month, we successfully migrated almost $2 billion worth of value to Ethereum, which has been going quite well. Now, the only exchange that has completed that is Ascendex, I think, has completed that now, and you can only trade ERC20 Omi on Ascendex. Bitforex at the moment is allowing deposits and withdrawals of both Omi tokens. So that's the existing Go token, Go Omi, and the new ERC20 Omi token. For anyone who missed the migration window, that actually means that you can send in your GoChain Omi still and withdraw the ERC20 Omi. You just have to be incredibly careful on that front, that when you withdraw back to an Ethereum address and not to the old GoChain address. You do risk losing your tokens there, but on the Bitforex interface, you have the choice to choose between which chain you would like to use, be it GoChain or Ethereum. So just be aware of that when using Bitforex. Then OKX and Gate.io have both indicated they are going to facilitate the swap after Lunar New Year, which I think ends this week, if I'm correct. They have both disabled deposits, so you can no longer send tokens into the exchange, or Omi tokens at least. And once they facilitate the swap, they will only have the new ERC20 Omi token on the exchange that will allow you to withdraw those things. So just to be aware of those. It is still ongoing, but making some pretty great progress. I've also seen questions on the bridge to deposit between layer 1 and layer 2. Now, I believe, Dan, you may have an update on this, but we're waiting on something on the IMX side to enable that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The guys on the immutable side will take quick updates on their system just to make it a little bit easier. And from there, we will have the L1 to L2 features rolled out. I think their timeline was next week, so it shouldn't be too far away.
Cool. I know the bridge is pretty well ready to go, so it's more a matter of being able to deploy it than having it built. So that will come out as soon as we can.
I think, Reese, if I'm not mistaken, you were planning on doing like a video, or at least some more casual Twitter Spaces or Discord, Clubhouse, kind of just walk people through that. I think there's still a fair amount of people that are confused about bridging versus the standard migration
swapping. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So same again. I will create some video content as a walkthrough. Once that bridge is live, or as we get close and I can sort of showcase what it looks like, we'll do the same thing we did for the migration. I'll run some Q&As. We'll make sure everybody understands that and really just understands the difference between the Omi token type that they're holding, whether it's layer 1 or layer 2, and what you can do there. But once I have the go-ahead from IMX, we'll work towards that. Now, just quickly, Dan, I think there's a new app update coming out next week.
Before we get into that, actually, Reese, sorry to interrupt you. We do have a special guest on stage and a first-time appearance here on our Veve community updates. Mr. Al Khan, the legend. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm great. Can you hear me? Okay.
We got you.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. This is so exciting. I mean, I am really delighted to be on this call because I obviously, I'm following these things, and I'm just really excited, and I think that this is going to be an incredible year for Veve and for all the community that's involved. And I think I want to give a big shout out because I've been following the progress on this thing. And I don't think anybody realizes how much effort, how much time, how much, gravitas it takes to move the things that David and Dan are moving. I mean, I think, there's some people have a tendency to look at, things that are not necessarily 100%, but you have to look at, the entirety. And I think we have to give a major thank you to David and Dan for all the work and all the things they've kind of come up against in regard to this particular situation. So I want to personally thank them. And I want to personally thank them for having me get involved. It's an amazing opportunity. And we're continuing to work together to bring more exciting opportunities to the community. And really, that's what I wanted to say.
Thanks, Al. It's great to have you on. I was quite surprised you did answer my text. So, here we are, your first AMA. I thought we'd bring a surprise guest. So
this is first appearance of Al.
It's the FA.
Hey, I think I didn't have a new motto. Gotta collect them out, right?
Oh boy, you just opened the can.
You're gonna regret that.
Regret that one, David. Well, I'm very excited because I hear that David and Dan are going to come to New York. And I remember when we started this project 4 years ago, Dan and David moved into my apartment in New York. I mean, literally, they were there for weeks on end, and we just kept on talking about what this could be and how it could be worked. And since COVID hit, of course, they haven't been back, and we miss them. So we hope that they'll be back. I think there's an NFT show coming into New York. I think it's in March, but hopefully we'll all get together and be able to talk, face to face, and and continue to work on what we all believe is the next major opportunity within the digital space.
Yeah, thanks, Al. I think the show's a bit later now. I need to double check.
Okay.
It might not be March. Just
it
could be moved to June.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will try to be there earlier. Obviously, we've got a lot of our partners in New York wants to see us. So, yeah, it's been an amazing ride. And thank you for joining on your Friday late evening now.
Okay.
So I think we probably want to carry on with our AMA as usual. Thanks, Al.
I'm going to sign off. And again, thank you, community, for your support.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks.
Thank you, Al. And obviously, if anyone isn't following Al yet, he has become the hype man on Twitter. You can find his profile and give him a follow as well. Try not to pester him, fam. Okay? Get enough.
No when questions.
No when, please. Yeah. Okay. On that note, we have an app update coming out next week, Dan. I don't think it's anything major, but some showroom updates, maybe. Oh, he's in the crowd. Mr. Dan.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. He dropped down. I'll bring him back up.
Rugged by Twitter. Also, team, there seems to be another Twitter update. I just updated before the spaces. So if anyone is getting disconnected consistently, maybe just update your app.
You want to give him that question again, Reese?
Yeah, Dan, you're up here.
Sorry, got dropped off for a second there. What was the question?
No, that's all right. Just diving back into the quick updates, we have an app update coming next week.
Yes, we do. So one of a couple of main things. The first one is that, just referring back to the restricted accounts, one of the really important things is that if your account does get flagged or there's an issue with your account and you need to reach out to support, we need to be able to identify who you are. We get so many nefarious emails and tickets through support with people claiming that this is their account, etc. And we really need to know that you are the actual owner of this account. So for new users coming in, part of the onboarding process will be collecting more information, such as your first name, your last name, your date of birth, and that information must match what's on your government issued ID. In case there is a scenario where support needs to identify who you are so they can help you out. Now, within the app, there are under your personal details, there are some fields that you can update. For those that you can't update, if your details are incorrect at the moment, you can reach out to support. And I recommend everybody does this. I can hear Lucas saying now, I'm going to be inundated with tickets. I highly recommend that your account details are updated to match your passport or your government ID. So that'll be first name, last name, and date of birth. That is going to help us expedite any issues or any problems you have, because we can identify that you are you and that you are the owner of the account. That's the sort of the first one that we have coming in, and then we've just got a bunch of other kind of updates into the market. Nothing too front facing. It's mostly just sort of optimizations to make the market run a little bit faster. We fixed up a few issues where there was some groups of users were seeing blank screens in the market when going to the listing pages. A lot of that has all been resolved now. And then another small update in the showroom. So recently, some of you may recall that we updated a lot of the movement controls in the showroom to make it a bit easier. However, while those updates are good for those sort of Voltaholics out there that wanted that finer degree of control, we have added back the
You get rubbed again? Sounds like it. So basically what he was saying is we've added back some of the old controls, the up, down, and things like that. So Voltaholics rejoice. At least we have some of the finer tuning controls back in the app with this next update. And I believe there are maybe a few other things that are still kind of pending that we've received feedback on from some of those prolific vault creators that we'll be addressing as well. But for now, we'll have the old, quote unquote, old controls in addition to some of the new controls back. So that should help out some creativity, because I do miss my intricate vaults from many a Vaultaholic and others in the community. So quickly, I think he is still rugged, sounds like.
I just saw him in the crowd, maybe.
Is he? Okay. Noah, can you help get Dan back up? Maybe I can ask David a question while we're waiting for him. Mm-hmm. So, David, we're really excited to release and drop Pili Fantasy this Sunday, which is really cool. It's a Taiwanese puppetry brand that has created specific digital collectibles for us for their 4 major characters for Pili Fantasy War of Dragons. Can you tell us a little bit about that deal and what that means for our support in the larger Asian market and further, localization?
Yeah, so I think one of the major things we talked about last year and moving on to 2022 is the APEC region. So the Greater Asia, including the China market, and it's quite a key, vital, move for Veve. We do currently have a lot of users already in China, but in proportion-wise, it is still very small. So, my task this year is really about the localization in with the Chinese audience, and domestically, they are already spending, if not in the billions, in NFTs and purchasing, from the region that they're already in. And we really want to get some of that audience into Veve and let them understand. And something that I have been monitoring quite closely is that they do prefer, their localization type of NFT that relate to them. And we do have to keep in mind that, like Star Wars or Marvel or DC even, it's a very new flavor into the Asian market. So vice versa, what we wanted to do, and we always talked about, is how we can use Veve as a platform in a way for cross culture and getting the audience in. And rest assured, we do also have Japanese animation as a major category, which we talked about before, and we haven't shown you a lot. And this is the first step into it. Why we picked Peely? A couple of things. They have a Netflix series that partnership with Netflix, which was on live before, and they just recently brought out a new movie a couple of days ago, and it received quite great gross domestic box office. So we really believe that these type of IP outside what we call the tier one superhero, this is considered as the tier one in these regions, and we will continue to see them. And I think we're seeing stamps that we brought out. You know, USPS is a US stamp collectibles. It doesn't mean only the American US market will collect stamps. Everyone does. So the PD fantasy is also something that resonates with me. And I see my parents watched it when they're a kid. Because back in the old days, puppetry is it's way of entertainment. And I think in the Western world, you know, back in 40, 50 years ago, puppetry is already been around in the greater Asian market. And I think some of us may grow up with, for example, Jim Henson's work from the Muppets, and so on, and Sesame Street. All these puppetry type of entertainment. So I really do believe that they are very collectible. And by the way, so our audience understand, Peely Fantasy as a collectible in the greater Asia market is very, very, very sought after. Their puppetry does go up in the tens of thousands for the originals. You know, one of 50 or one of 200 editions. They are very sought after collectible by high net worth entrepreneurs who goes out there and buy these. And you know, they always release these very small, limited number, and they wanted Veve originally to release a very, very low mid number, which I took myself a long time to convince them that, you know, we really want to grow the global audience. And this is the first appearance. And we're bringing out 4 of their, you know, one of the many thousands, but the 4 of the most recognized characters. And I really do believe if we did bring out all the thousands of characters that they have produced, these would be definitely the key more sought after. And being involved in some of the other WeChat community group up in China, I have seen huge, you know, people talking about this drop. And probably, unfortunately, a lot of these, the issue in the China is that they had to jump through VPN and then, you know, and to get that click before everyone, it's going to be tough. So hopefully we'll see a lot of secondary market action in that as well. So, you know, best of luck for everyone. I think they're amazing. And, you know, Dan has been working on the model tirelessly to make it look perfect. So, you know, we'll let Dan to speak a little bit what he thought the figures are.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, like you say, Dave, you know, I think this is our first sort of step, or our first foray into anime and animation. I think I've mentioned on previous AMAs that I am a massive anime fan, so I am super excited to get this category kicked off. And yeah, I think we released the article, Alex, on Peely. Yep. The models are really cool. I mean, they're what we call TD style, which is you know, small, cute, big heads kind of look, and just very beautifully detailed model. So yeah, like Dave says, best of luck in the drop.
Do either of you own a physical version of these, David, in your collection?
Yeah, I mean the physical is very, very hard to get. Well, I you know, them and myself, when we up in Taipei, we see them in the toy shops and the collectible stores everywhere throughout whole Asia, including Japan. Some of the biggest market for Pili will be actually just outside Taiwan, China, Southeast Asia, and Japan's quite big on it. So it is very hard to get their collectible. They only run their normal physical in the hundreds. They never ever wanted to produce, mass quantity, and we glad that they, for this first appearance, that they have agreed that we will make this vintage run. Yeah, and they're going to look amazing when you have all four of them together. And then we do, so everyone know, we do have series 2 and 3 and 4. And man, I think I sent some series 2 image to Dan, and they look stunning. I mean, they are crazy good. So yeah, I mean, they're going to be a quite collectible piece. And it's a multi-year relationship with Pili. So, and once again, they had picked Veve as their platform because they love the way how we engage in our community. And just so everyone know, hundreds of Asian NFT minters or platform have approached them, and we were very, very lucky to have them on board Veve, and it's definitely a big tick for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, Alex, that drops
Sunday, 8 a.m. PT.
And Blind Box available globally, I believe.
Yes.
Unlike some of the earlier sort of APAC targeted brands. Great stuff. And just quickly, we have another drop this weekend as well. Do you want to...
Yes, DC CoverGirl Series 2, featuring Batgirl, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and Harley Quinn. Artist renditions by Frank Cho and Joelle Jones. These are really detailed models. They look amazing and will be, a great addition to any showroom. And that the Harley Quinn one in particular, I think, is my favorite. It's just the detail, the exuberance in her face is pretty solid. So shout out to Joelle Jones.
Absolutely. That's awesome. People can keep an eye out for that, and good luck on the weekend. But on that note, let's jump back into this, and then we will take some questions. Now, after this AMA, guys, from a lot of community feedback, we've kind of discussed these update sections that we've been doing. I think we're going to move to a video format. So the team will probably just back and forth just to get the updates into one place. A lot of people still don't use Twitter or can't make these spaces and or listen back to them later. So we'll start to really utilize the Veve YouTube channel for that. If you don't already follow it, go check it out. I'm pretty sure it's just YouTube/Veve official. Alex, is that? Do you know the URL?
Yeah, it's a little longer of a URL, but you can find it in the link any of the link in bios.
Yeah, perfect. So that way we can sort of cover the updates in an easily digestible format, so that when we do these AMAs and Q&As, we can really dive straight into the questions. And then on that, I think, Alex, you and I will probably host one of these every 2 weeks, probably more targeted at new Veve users coming into the community as well. And then we'll look to do a big team one sort of on the month or something like that when there are.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think we kind of planned on starting that this week, but the community was, or the sentiment was running a little hot this week. Mm-hmm. So we kind of changed course and wanted to make sure that we got up here and addressed some of these ongoing concerns. I think before Dan got rugged, we were kind of talking about some of those app updates. I want to give him a chance to finish what else was going on there aside from the showroom controls. But just on the note of updating your personal details to match your government-issued ID, I do want to touch quickly, again, I know we talked about false positive, but there is kind of a groundswell of concern in the community that, that there's a lot more quote-unquote false positives than we're letting on, or whatever the case is. But just to reiterate, false positives are maybe handfuls of people as opposed to hundreds of thousands. Is that, Dan, can you add a little more clarity there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are some false positives, and like I mentioned earlier, we do apologise if you get caught up in the net, and we do have the new processes in place to really try to churn through and get those accounts unrestricted as fast as we can. But and as Reese mentioned earlier, really just making sure that you are using the app as intended, to make sure that you aren't getting flags in any way.
Yeah. So I see a lot of concerns like this could happen to anybody, and while theoretically possible, it's not like this continuing wave of people getting banned for no reason. The false positives are few and far between. So it's usually with our systems and our security systems, basically doing some level of machine learning, there will be waves of restrictions, and sometimes one or two per wave will kind of sneak through. But we want to make sure everybody feels comfortable in knowing that this is not just something that all of a sudden you're going to lose everything in your account, for no reason whatsoever. We will absolutely work to get those things back for you. So please, bear with us as we kind of work through all of the kinks. But at the end of the day, this is all for the greater good. This is all so that we can continue to enjoy the platform, land these drops, and really keep these nefarious actors out of the platform, despite the fact that we see many in advertisement post-drop completely overstating success rates. It's really kind of laughable. And the people, honestly, that think that for some reason all of these drops are going to bots are just, we implore you to please just kind of use your best judgment in reporting people, and then take a look at that article we just put out. It really is really quite informative, and you can see what the processes are without giving away all the trade secrets so that bots can adjust. It is really about identifying and correctly banning all of the individual bot protocols and accounts. So we appreciate your patience in all of this, but it is really going to be a matter of quick growth versus perception.
Absolutely. And look, just on that, Vem, I mean, we're asking for your help in this as well. In that article, we have now added a channel that you can post if you are aware of bot activity or have some sort of insights into anyone that is trying to cheat the system. There is now a reporting method that we can see that nobody else can, so that we can stay on top of that as well. Because at the end of the day, this is a community initiative. If people are buying things from bot sellers or supporting that kind of practice, then it makes it much harder for us to squash. So check out that article when you have the time, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, in the Discord, sorry, quickly, just want to add that in the Discord there is a new kind of one-way reporting system for bot reports. It is called the Bot Reports channel. It's under the kind of support category, and it's easy for you to submit, some tips to us for anybody selling bots in a Discord or touting, success rates, etc., and that'll help us kind of narrow all of these down.
Yeah. Now, just on that, and we'll probably reiterate this a few times. Please don't send us suspicions. We need some details to be able to do anything about it. So that's usernames, conversations, that kind of thing. But don't just, if you see someone selling a few things in the market with the same username, then that doesn't make them a bot. Please use your best judgment. But it will definitely go a long way to helping us to cut some of this out as well. Okay, let's do some community questions, okay? Okay, Alex, do you want to bring some people up?
Yeah, I actually only got a few from Twitter to get around here, so let me get into that. We already talked about Q system. David Dan Drew asks, what are plans to limit/control supply so we don't have a diluted market that significantly affects the collectible value proposition? Sorry, I don't mean that.
That's a great question. Obviously, I think our audience understand that we never thought the user base will be where it is today. And one of the things that myself and Dan made it very clear is that we want to make these things very collectible because that's what my whole business, my background is based on. Now, we, and you probably have seen releases coming out, and from when we had 5,000 users and now millions plus active user, the quantity is still stayed very relatively true to the mint number. So you haven't seen anything increase to hundreds of thousands. We are coming and thinking possibly this year, sometime this year, as our user numbers still continue to climb up, possibly doing another product range. We are investigating and we are learning from both physical space and both, how we can do what I use the word digital clone in the toy market to see if there's opportunity that, we can increase some of the more of the toy lines. We haven't decided anything yet, but as far as Veve Collectible goes, what we have done is we are a premium digital collectible platform. And right now, and I need to be very honest, is that our numbers are really pretty significant high. In terms of some of these toy statues, they don't mint more than 10,000 of them. So we had touched over the 10, 12,000, considering that some of our audience would like to get it, and we always hope we can get a couple more thousand people into it. But staying true to the collectability is one of the major things. And now, then going back to the conversation about Peely, give you an example. Even though it's not a well-known IP in the Western world, but considering how many billions of people in the Greater Asia region, once they know about this, they will want to collect the first one. So we had to, I think some of the number will be over 9 to even 10,000, just slightly, for a first appearance of an IP that's not big. But, that's taking in very seriously on what the potential size of that IP market will be around the world. So we do think about the user base, the limited edition, the collectability. We think of everything. But hopefully later on this year, you will see something that we do more coincides in the toy line.
Great.
Hopefully that answers, a bit. And until we know more what we're doing, I can't give anything more away at the moment.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay, Arahan asks, rough estimates on when we can expect OUP installments such as staking, Omi to NFT, and others?
We are working as fast as we can on MCP, OUP, and all the other features. And I think just to remind the community again that we are in the business of collectibles, so that always has to be our sort of first and foremost priority. And obviously with our development team, I feel really sorry for them. They always get pulled left and right and off projects, and then dive into looking at our bot solutions and seeing what we can do there. So we are aiming to have those in place by the end of Q2. Please don't hold me to that. We're trying as hard as we can to get everything out as fast as we can, but we do have a very, very demanding business on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Thanks. Simeon asks, is it against the terms of service or not allowed to have two accounts in one name and birthday? It doesn't talk about it in the T&Cs or the terms of use.
Right now we don't limit or prevent people from setting up multiple accounts. However, with all of the activity that's been happening with the bots and with restricted accounts, it would be my recommendation that you don't have multiple accounts, because it can start to become a bit tricky if one of those accounts does get restricted and we need to identify you. I don't think we'll change that policy, but really just use your best judgment. If you've got multiple accounts, you're probably have got multiple devices going after the drops, which I completely understand. But yeah, we just need to keep in mind that we do have some fairly aggressive bot detection platforms now, so we need to make sure you're safe on your side.
Yeah, and I think related to that, there's a question that says, I sometimes transfer my collectibles to a second account, which serves as my holding account, so I never flip those. Is that, do we recommend that? Is that okay? Will those, with that second account get daily points for MCP, etc.? Like, what do we recommend people do in those cases? Because I know a lot of people that actually do that.
Sorry, Alex, I missed the first part of the question there.
So somebody has an additional account they basically transfer collectibles to for holding, so that they don't flip them, or that they, they're just kind of out of sight, out of mind, but, they're moving things between two accounts for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no problem with that, but the MCP in particular is based off the number of collectibles that you own. So if you've got one main active account that you use for drops or use for buying and selling or whatever, if that account doesn't have any collectibles in it, then you're obviously not going to get the benefits of the Master Collector Program. And this also sort of circles back what I was saying before, that when the MCP rolls out, it really is going to help reinforce that, if you're an active user in the community, you've got a lot of collectibles, comic sets, you will get some benefit or advantage from that. So it would be my recommendation that, yeah, you have everything in one account so you can maximize those benefits.
Great, thank you. And then just staying on theme, because I know we wanted to hit this from as many angles as possible today, but Panda asks, can we expect to implement any account ratings so we can skip over bots, quote unquote bots, in the marketplace? What about deducting MCP points if someone buys from a bad account to discourage users from buying bots? Or I think the general sentiment here is that, can we get some kind of user verification or seller ratings, essentially, in the market to help people discern between nefarious actors and actual users?
Yeah, absolutely, and that also ties into the MCP. Obviously, you're going to have a level, you're going to have a rank, and if you see an account that's maybe got one collectible, not saying that that's necessarily a bot, because there are a lot of new users coming into the platform that may only have one collectible in their profile. The MCP will help you to be able to see, this is a high level user, they're a high rank user, they've done a lot of trades. So that will all be kind of part and parcel with the MCP.
Okay, great. One more here, and then we'll go bring some people up on stage. When comics in showrooms?
The first win. That is coming along. We, like I said before, our core development team does have to jump around on a lot of different things. And I think we've just got one last thing to do on the actual look of the comics, like how they're going to look in the showroom. And once that's done, we'll be able to get that feature rolled out.
Perfect. All right. Looks like did we get Brian up on stage? Yeah, Brian. Sorry, Brian.
Don't worry, I get Brian a lot. Yeah, I just had a quick one for you guys. Just in terms of the market and MTL and Omi to NFT, I was just curious as to what you guys were thinking. What would come first, MTL or the Omi to NFT functionality?
The first one that is already in production is the MTL or the payout. So we have beta testers in there using it now. We've had a number of successful payouts already. And then from next week, we're going to be bringing on a wider group of beta testers. I think I've explained before that we just need to be very careful with this MTL payout feature. Obviously, we're trying to be as global as possible, and when we're dealing with any kind of monetary value, we just need to make sure that everything's working. Both on the legal side, we as a company have to go through a significant amount of compliance, and poor David has been slaving away on that to make sure that we have our T's crossed and I's dotted. So that'll be the first one coming out, and then Omi to NFT will be rolled out as part of the the OUP later in the year.
Right on. Cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
Is it windy in your apartment, Dan, or what's going on over there?
Sorry.
I asked the same question.
My bad.
Okay. How spicy do we want to get here for the last 10 minutes or so?
Let's get it three level chilies.
3 level chilies out of 4?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's get one more from Twitter, and then I'll bring somebody else up on stage. How many collectibles have been permanently locked? Or actually, can you just maybe take a step back and talk about what happens to collectibles after a bot gets disabled or permanently disabled?
I'm not actually sure on the total number. I'd have to have a chat with the developers on that one. But if you're, I guess there's 2 scenarios. I mean, obviously, we are not in the business of taking collectibles away from people. You know, we want people to participate and enjoy the whole experience of Veve. Where the complication comes in is that if you are detected as a actual bot user, and then you are not able to prove your identity that you own that account, which is generally what happens most of the time, because these bot users set up scripts to create accounts with random names, random emails, random birth dates. So we have no way of actually identifying that you are that particular user. And those accounts will just permanently remain disabled until such time as that person is able to identify themselves, if they even can. And then right now, I mean, we don't do anything with those collectibles. We leave them all in the accounts because obviously, we're hoping that one day, these people will be able to identify themselves and who they are, and then we can release them, so that they don't get moved anywhere or, sent to the company wallet. They all remain in use accounts, in the hopes that, we can get their accounts re-enabled.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's move on to Brothers. You there? Muted?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just had some questions about the restricted accounts, actually, because like in the article y'all just sent, it said you pass the KYC, you get re-enabled. There's a lot of accounts we know of that are restricted. They've even passed KYC, but they can't sell or transfer their assets. So then they kind of raises the question, well, do we even own these assets if we can't sell them, we can't transfer them? So that was a lot of questions I think the community has right now.
Yeah, thanks for the question. We are going through now, and if anyone has passed KYC or you've proven your identities to support, the priority for the support team now is going through and making sure that those accounts get unrestricted. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got some new practices and new policies in place now that really are helping us to identify people who are restricted that shouldn't be restricted, and we're working very hard to get those accounts back to normal. So over the next sort of week or so, if your account has been restricted, you can expect that that's more than likely going to revert back to normal. And if any more information is required from the support team, then they will be reaching out to you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's see quickly. I get this question a lot because I think there is, I think people are looking for any way to kind of help their chances in getting drops. With the number of users on the platform now, we're seeing the allocated error or the sellout error essentially upon, 12 or 8 a.m. and, on the dot, right? So a lot of the questions that I get is, why don't we limit collectibles to 1 per person? Because there is the whole notion of people that get things on the rebound, the quote-unquote rebound or the second chance buy, or that somehow bots are getting more than 1 at a time per account. Can you just talk about that a little bit and shed some light?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do limit the number of collectibles per drop and per user account. I mean, in the scenario of bots, you know, they may have multiple accounts and then they transfer all of the collectibles that they do manage to get back to one sort of master account. And we have become extremely good at detecting that activity, and then we go and then we disable those accounts. So yeah, I just want to reassure the community that there are limitations on the number of collectibles that users can buy. It's normally a bit higher for commons, but when we get down to the the lower rarities, they generally are restricted to one collectible per account.
Great, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and bring up one other person off the audience, and I'll ask a question from Twitter in the meantime. What will come first, MTL or Omi to NFT?
I think we just answered that one, didn't we? MTL.
MTL, there you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, Minnesota.
Hey there, guys. Just want to quickly say Happy Lunar New Year to everyone that's celebrating. My question is, very curious about the Asian market and folks who are on Veve, the Veve app from Asia. So what % of total users would you say is from Asia? Thanks.
Right now, the percentage is, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, around 10%, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, there are some. We don't really just count Asia as Asia. We do the whole APAC region. Then Australia is definitely top 5. If we count that as APAC, and Singapore's up there, same as Hong Kong. Taiwan is high up there as well. So I think it's definitely more than 10. They are all. There's about 5 or 6 countries that's on the top 30 list, but yeah, possibly a little bit more than 10, but definitely between the 10 to 20. So we've got a huge growth to, will happen in this region.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons that we are starting to roll out these more region-specific IP, such as Pilly Fantasy, to just grow to a wider audience and have sort of better offerings on a global basis.
Nice. One question I get a fair bit, and it's from our Australian compatriots, is have we considered moving the drop time? Now, I know obviously we have quite a lot more drops now, and we are running the 8 and 12 p.m. sort of slots. Are we looking to permanently move that 8 a.m. drop time, or are we just going to continue to have drops at different times during the day?
Yeah, this is something Alex and I talk about quite a lot. It's quite difficult when we have such a big global audience across so many different time zones to find that that one spot that is fits everyone. We have been considering moving to the 12 p.m. PST because that is a little bit better for some regions. However, the downside is if we move it, then other regions are going to get affected. So, we have considered this quite carefully. We've discussed doing regional drops, but it can potentially get a little bit unfair. Like, say, for example, if we open up a drop to like Australia only or the APAC region only, then obviously everyone else kind of misses out. So yeah, we are very aware and cognizant of that the drop times aren't the best for some people. I mean, hey, I hate getting up at 5 a.m. New Zealand as well, but it is a bit of a difficult challenge at the moment.
For sure. Maybe in that same vein then, I remember the good old days when people used to ask when more drops. And it feels like we're dropping something every day now. Do you foresee us getting to a point where we're dropping something every day or multiple collectibles every day?
I don't know about every day. Obviously, these past few weeks have been pretty intense. And our sort of strategy all along has always been to drop more content. And I think what's happening with the community now is that everyone just goes after everything because it's all cool. But as we start to bring in more IPs, what David and I anticipate is that people will really just start to chase the IP they want. Like maybe you are fully into Marvel and everything they do, or maybe you're more into the artist side of things. So that's really the strategy around it, that we allow people to sort of choose the category or the pathway that they want to follow in terms of their collecting.
Alex, you want to bring a few more up, or how are we doing for time, gents?
I think we were going to try to go the hour. Dan, how is your time looking? I know David had some calls that he has to jump on. How are we doing with you?
Yeah, I also have some calls, but I can probably do another 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So let's move to Marcus Brown, and then we'll go on to some just quick housekeeping stuff with maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Marcus Brown, how are you?
How are you guys? I apologize for even asking this at this point. But okay, so I basically sent some Omi from BitForex to my Veve wallet, but there were ERC20 tokens or something of that nature, and they aren't showing up in my Veve wallet. And it's a substantial amount. So I'm not sure if I open up a ticket, will I be able to recover it, or is that just gone?
Yeah, you will. Yeah. So basically, and we'll do some wrap up Q&As on the migration just to try to get this information to permeate a little further. So any Omi tokens on the exchanges are on Ethereum layer 1. Veve lives on Ethereum layer 2. Now, the good news is that when in phase 1 of the migration, we registered all of the existing Omi wallets in the Veve app to layer 2. So technically, it's the same address. But what you've done is send layer 1 Omi to a layer 1 address, and it doesn't display in Veve because it only shows your layer 2 balance. So that ticket, you would have filled out some details, or once we get back to you, we'll get some details from you, pass that to our CTO, and essentially what he has to do is use the keys that control all of the company wallets or all of the in-app wallets, generate your wallets on layer 1, and return the tokens to you. So when we contact you, make sure you give us a return address that is not BitForex. It has to be one that you control the keys for. But for anyone who makes that mistake, they are recoverable. There's just a bit of a process to do it, and it happens on our time clock just because we have 1,001 other things happening.
Thank you so much.
No problem. We'll get them back to you.
That's great news. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you so much.
No worries. And look, I might just reiterate again, because I have seen one person make this mistake, unfortunately. When you are withdrawing tokens or moving them anywhere, make sure you're sending them to a wallet address, not to the Omi token contract address. The contract address is what you would add to MetaMask, for example, to see your Omi token balance, whereas a wallet address is obviously a wallet you control and can receive tokens to. If anybody mistakenly sends tokens to the contract, you're effectively burning them. So as long as you're sending to a wallet, there's usually some form of recourse there.
Great. Thank you, Reese. Sid, the Omi Kid.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Just want to say great job on the swap and everything. And to Rev, I got to say horns up. Go Rams. I got a win question for you. When can we expect some sports stuff? I know a lot of us expected the NFL, and I guess something went through with that last summer. But what are your thoughts on sports things coming up?
So we are going to be expanding on our sports category. We want to make sure that when we do roll this out, we do have a good offering and a good plan for the next coming years. So this year, you can absolutely expect some sports category to open up. It obviously is a massive area of fandom, and there's a lot of collectibles and collectible content in that area. Obviously people wanting to support their favorite teams, etc. So watch the space. It's a huge category, along with superheroes, anime, and sports is a really big one that we will 100% be tackling.
Speaking of categories, what is the next category? Thank you, sir. Have we we've mentioned maybe the next big category that we're expecting to roll out in?
I think Dave touched on it earlier that one of the areas that we do want to look into start expanding is the anime side of things. Obviously starting with Philly Fantasy, and then hopefully man, I really want to get all my favorite anime characters in there as well. So Dave's doing his best to get those deals across the line.
Let the speculation begin.
I know, I was very careful about what I'm saying there.
All right, homie.
Hey, Ecomi Veve team. Thanks for your time as always. My question kind of has to do with the new raffle system coming. So I was wondering, like, what would be stopping somebody from buying, like, just like 100 phones and making 100 accounts and just entering the raffle? They're getting like 100 raffle tickets. So I kind of want to know, if there would be some type of KYC to stop that, or is this something else that we kind of got to deal with too, or?
Yeah, I mean, if someone has got 100 phones or 100 accounts, it's more than likely that they're a botter of some sort. And then obviously we've got our systems on our side to detect that and flag or get those accounts restricted or disabled. And yeah, just to touch on KYC, I know it is something that comes up in the community. I mean, we will be introducing some form of KYC later down the line, but the real challenge right now, and I think Reese articulated this quite well in the article that he put out yesterday, is that people in the crypto space, they understand KYC, they understand it's a necessity. You sign up to an exchange, anything like that, to go beyond a certain level, you have to KYC. However, Veve is a mass market product for collectors, and it is a very big deterrent if you come into the app and during the sign up you have to provide all this kind of information. It really is a big blocker to use the sign up. So we want to make sure that that's easy. However, as I mentioned, we will be looking at some form of layering, as in new accounts can only do a certain number of features, or maybe a certain amount of value, or a certain number of drops, and that also ties in heavily with the MCP as well. So, I think one of the big advantages with the MCP is that it really is going to help users who are very avid collectors within Veve. And really allow us to sort of filter out these other nefarious actors.
Okay, so yeah, it sounds good. I appreciate that answer. I kind of got like 1 or 2 more questions. Is there any possible news or like time frames or anything regarding like a new Omi exchange listing, or also listing NFTs on Immutable X?
Well, we can't obviously talk about any new exchange listings per se, but as everyone, as most people on the space know, now that we have moved to ERC20, which is obviously a far more ubiquitous token, that does open us up to be listed on a significantly more wider range of exchanges. So part of our strategy this year is, of course, to continue our exchange growth. And now that we are on ERC20, we can really start to push play on that side of things.
Awesome. Right. Funky Monkey. Hey, hello. Love what you're doing. Big fan. My question, are you going to have a public API for us all to build the most fantastic analytics applications and collectors apps on?
Very much a requested feature from the community. We will eventually, however, one of the things that we really need to set up a whole range of new services, because I imagine that API will get hit a lot if we open it up to the public. So we just need to make sure that on our back-end systems, that we can basically handle all of that. Right now we're very much focused on keeping the app fully functional, and we've obviously got a lot of different developments going on. Thankfully, we just ticked off a massive one, which is the token migration, so we can now get all of the devs who are focused on that back onto these new features. So yeah, the public API is more than likely coming, but as I say, we do need to do quite a bit of get up on our side to make sure that that is going to be a reliable service that isn't affecting anything we're doing on our side. And to be honest with you, I'm actually quite excited to see what the community is going to do with the API.
Okay, thanks. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on now to Des.
Yeah, Alex, I can probably do one more question. Alex, down some
we'll do this.
Hey guys.
Dave?
Yeah. Hey guys. So, question to Dan mostly. Do you guys know of any, like I heard David talk about, the grading of comics. So do you guys know of any, like, agency that's being created for the digital assets? Or are you guys preparing for, like, the future of, like a grading agency? Like, what's your guys' idea for the future of, like, the collecting and, like, separating the assets from, one another, besides, like, the mints?
Are you referring to like the grading level, like in the physical world of comics?
Yeah. Like, do you guys see any of that in the future? Because, like, I'm trying to see, like, because it's so new, like, and I see that low mints are valuable. We also get rarity points toward. So I started strategizing and also collected towards that way. So now I have, like, sets that have matching mints, and I try to, like, think ahead. So those people, like, back in the days that didn't care about the comics, that collected the physicals, now those people are reaping the rewards that actually cared about it. So what do you guys see as being the future, and are you guys implementing anything, with comic books or collectibles, or blockchain history being, something that, can upgrade the value of the asset?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a tricky one because the digital and the physical spaces are very different. Obviously in the physical world with comic books, for example, where you get like a 9.8 grade, that really comes down to the physical condition of that comic and the rarity of that comic. But I think one of the cool things with digital collectibles or NFTs is that the grade, let's just call it the grade, is kind of inherent in the product, right? You know what the mint number is. You can see the blockchain history. It's never going to degrade. So I think that on our side, both David and I have spoken about it quite a lot. But I think it's going to be difficult to implement some kind of grade because, like I say, I really believe that grade is inherent in the collectible that you've got. Like if it is a low edition run and you've got a low mint number, and hey, maybe that particular collectible's been owned by David in the past. Those are the kind of things that are going to contribute to the grade inherently, rather than us imposing some form of system. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
And just on that, I think the Comics and Crypto team have been putting together a bit of a digital grading system. Sean, if you're listening, I'm really sorry I haven't got back to your email, but I promise I will. So keep an eye out for that too, or maybe chat to them if you've got any ideas as to grading and stuff too. I think it will develop itself in the industry.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I do need to jump to my next call.
But yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Just want to say again, we really do apologize for anyone who has had restricted account problems, and we are doing our absolute best, and we do 100% care. I mean, it's obviously been a very, very crazy year for everyone involved, and we just want to make the whole experience as best as we can while we're working through all of these challenges. So just thank you again to everyone, and thank you for your patience. And again, I do apologize for anyone that had any issues, and we're doing our best to work through that. But on that note, hope everyone has a great weekend. Best of luck for the drops, and see you on the next AMA. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good, sir.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Okay, just to kind of wrap us up here quickly, want to reiterate that Reese and I are planning on doing some more regular community updates / AMA type things, a little more informal, on a more regular basis. So it's been quite a while since our last AMA, and that was just kind of due to coming off the new year and onboarding.
Migration.
Exactly. Migration rather. And obviously onboarding a lot more partners and licensors that we are excited to share with you in the coming weeks and months. So apologies. We have not gone dark. We still value the community and your input and want to remain as transparent as possible. So to that end, we will be doing some more regular updates, both in video format so that more people can view them. We are recording today's space so that you can listen back. Reese and I will be available on more frequent kind of AMAs, either here on Twitter Spaces or within the Discord. And we also have some, opportunities to be more involved with the community groups, for instance. So to that end, Claire, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Women X Veve?
Yeah, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, I've upgraded and got myself some AirPods or whatever you call them. So the kids are trying to make me hip here. So
You're doing it, Claire. You got it.
I'm getting there. But yeah, just really, first of all, just want to thank Veve for all the support that they've done in, first of all, making a women channel for us within the Discord, and we want to grow the channel, and we know that there are many women within the community, and sometimes it's not easy for us all to be able to communicate with each other in a safe space because it is a male dominated environment. So what we're planning on doing is doing some more different things, and after tomorrow's drop, because what better drop than a cover girl drop, but we're going to be using the voice chat function. So if there are any ladies in the community that want to just come in to look at the Discord, just say hello, find the women's channel. Honestly, you will be welcomed with open arms there, and just again, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. And, the Women X Veve continue to put out amazing content both on YouTube and within the Discord channel. So if you were at all timid about kind of getting involved in the discussion, know that there is a group, waiting for you with open arms. And that said, I just want to quickly touch on a couple other things. I know that we didn't cover a lot of kind of the big ticket roadmap stuff here. We really wanted to focus on bots and restricted accounts just because of the groundswell of, be it FUD or a concern or, just general nervousness about how we're approaching this. The MTL, obviously, we're continuing to work towards. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. That is not kind of an open-ended thing. It is really just kind of based on regulatory approval and AML type things. We have moved to the next phase of beta testing. We've opened that up to a few more people so that we can continue testing. So we expect to make strides in getting that available to the phased approach that we had mentioned earlier with smaller groups at a time for people to start kind of testing the cash out function. Otherwise, what is the other big ticket item, Reese, that we want to touch on just before we wrap things up here?
I think that's it from me. Have you got anything else there you want to cover? Yeah, other than that, I will look to do a bit of a post-migration Q&A or even just a video to run through some of those items. So keep an eye out for that. And otherwise, as we kind of mentioned at the top, please read through that article if you haven't seen it yet. If you see anyone screaming bots on Twitter, please just drop that link for me. That's all I'm going to do from now on.
Honestly, it's good timing, but it should have been documented. That's on us. Yeah. And we can't assume that people have been here for multiple AMAs to hear us talk about it. Like people maybe don't have the time to join us or don't look back at the history of our tweets, and we talk about these things and address the concerns. But I definitely want to make sure that we are being as transparent as possible moving forward. That said, we are also working on an all-encompassing kind of glossary, if you will, or of the addition type tags, designations. So FAFE, like what those mean, why certain things have them and others don't. I know there's always a question about when one does come out and why something else doesn't have it, etc. We're trying to clean all of that up because we do know there have been some inconsistencies. So that's in the works. Otherwise, yeah, let's reconvene in another week or two. As Reese mentioned, he will have some content, further content about the migration, and we're always available in the Discord. There is that bot report channel now live in the Discord, so if you see some nefarious, the word of the day, activity, please do report it to us, and we take all of those reports seriously. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today. This session has been recorded, so if you missed any of it, you can listen back to it, and we also will put out our standard Twitter recap.
For sure.
That'll do it.
Yep, that's it from me, fam. Really appreciate you all. Thank you for sticking with us while we work through these systems. And as Alex mentioned, we will continue to work on our communication on all fronts.
Yes, indeed. Quickly, just wanted to bring up, aside from the 2 drops this weekend, Cover Girls and Tilly Fantasy, we do have 3 comics next week in the same theme, celebrating Black characters. Some FAs will be there, and I think you will really dig the releases. So 3 comics next week, and more info on that as we get closer. And the end of February is looking pretty spicy, y'all. So,
super spicy. Super spicy. It's going to be fun.
I will talk to you later. Thank you, everybody, for joining
thanks,
us.
man.
Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. So, what do you think about that? Have your questions been answered? Or how do you feel about that? So, if we can recap that, we haven't gotten any hint onto exchanges. And the bot topic was a little bit unsatisfying, I guess. I mean, they basically said they are overwhelmed and they cannot handle it, but they didn't answer how they are going to increase more transparency, and they are also they didn't answer how to scale. I mean, how to get it faster, but they said they're doing it, and they released that article like 10 minutes before everything started. So yeah, JST says, well, I think a few questions got answered at least. Can you hear me right? Oh, and by the way, I apologize for the sound problem in the beginning, so that you couldn't hear everything all right. So that's on me. I will figure that out better. I will have hopefully soon 2 screens here. I got the screen already, but I don't have a cable for it, so I can split a little bit up, and then I run some tests on how I can get the sound directly in. But I hope it worked. Oh. So do you hear it better? I think that was a little bit quiet. But anyway, so I think we got some bullish news as well. I mean, we got some soft confirmation of sports content, which would be new, I guess. I don't know if it was only a question about NFL, but we basically got that question in, and they confirmed that they are going to go in that sports area. So we see them rolling out all that part. Like they confirmed they are going to Asia. They confirmed they are going to move into the section of the animes. So that is pretty big, I guess. And yeah, I think that's very good thing from today. Regarding, I think the question that really has to be answered, or that wasn't answered yet to an extent that I would say it was satisfying, is the one of the ownership of the NFTs. Because yes, they said they will strip it from long-term disabled and bot accounts, and they said basically that
you shouldn't have to wait until you get. So they basically gave us at least a feeling that they are working through all the accounts, and that they will bring the accounts back. So I'm a little bit more satisfied on that. But yeah, let's see here. At least we know that you don't lose any collectibles when you pass KYC. What worries me is still the question of complete ownership, because the Medium article states that some functions are not rights but privileges. Yes, so that was something that I also pulled up in the beginning, and actually I can pull that that thing up quickly here. That article, that Medium article, because we were going through it in the beginning. But let's just see here. So here, there you go. You should see it by now. So here, basically, what JST is saying is that they are here. Here they say it. So there is a range of features within Veve that a collector has access to when using the app as intended. Access to these features is a privilege, not a right of use. So that is, I don't know if they should have said it in that sense, because I mean, that is something that you should at least word differently, because that's basically, oh yeah, you little plebs, if we you can pay, but it's still a privilege, right? So yeah, I don't know if that's really correct here. Pity London, so you made a FUD video about what? About what did I make a FUD video about? Bots war is completely legit. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you have to fight the bots, and they are doing it. But okay. Petty London says bans account Veve. What do you mean by that? Like, that they should ban accounts or what? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, no worries. I had to run through that article here in the beginning, so I couldn't even finish it. And then I had the sound problems with everything. So sorry about that. Next time will be better. Can I sell Omi now? Veve app will close. Will that, right? What do you mean by will close? The app will not close. I mean, they are doing really good. We cannot deny that, and it's not like that I'm hating or fudding on Veve and Ecomi. I think they are doing a perfect, or not a perfect, but a great job. And I mean, they basically admitted today that they should have come out earlier, that they should have addressed this earlier, and so on. So they came out on late notice because shit just started to blow up, right? Everyone got banned left and right, and as they said, they gave some more transparency. So they basically said that they have AI learning and trying to do machine learning on the bots, which I think is a good thing, because then you can be as fast as the bots and sort at least more out than others do. But the problem is that if bots have to learn, they have to shoot first and ask questions later. Yeah. Georgie says, "Did you hear at the end? They said that end of February will be spicy." Man, I don't know if that is Pokemon Day. Pokemon Day is end of February. Okay, that could, because that lines up with a lot of stuff that I want to actually do a video on as well, because I have mentioned that in the last live stream. There are many things in the Pokemon space that are lining up with that day. So, but I'm not sure if it will happen directly on Pokemon Day, because it's so if you see the trading card game, for example, they have a sunset article out for sunsetting the old version, and they want to bring up Pokemon Trading Card Live. But they said they will sunset the old version right before, to then launch the other one with an underlying technology, which is probably blockchain, to even get rid of duplicate accounts. So yeah, if it's on 28th of February, then this could be very interesting, because I think 2 days ago it was that Immutable announced a partnership with GameStop, and GameStop is also working with Pokemon. So you have Immutable having already shown on the testnet Pokemon trading card game. You have the trading card game that is sunsetting the old version to bring out a new one, and you have GameStop that works with Pokemon, and then you have Alcan that was here shortly in the beginning. Yeah, and probably it was that we see him a little bit around before he comes on the call and tells us something about it. But I think you should have at least have one or two big exchanges coming so that the explosion really can happen on the Omi token, right? So yeah, and they said that, I mean, that Asia rollout leads to something. Maybe Pokemon Day will be the day where they announce it, but the actual rollout of that will be across the whole year. So maybe there will be the first hint, the first announcement on the 28th of February, and yeah, I think that could be very interesting. Thank you for the hint that it is actually on the 28th. I didn't know that. So good that I started opening physical Pokemon packs and get the online cards out of that stuff. Maybe that will help me. I don't know. But it would be really cool if you could get digital Pokemon packs, like first edition, first print run, on the app to kind of buy the closed packs or keep the closed packs, and it's like in the physical world. That would be insane, man. That would be insane. What else? What else did you take from that AMA? I think it was better than way better than the last time around Christmas, because then there I had the feeling that they are just stalling, but this time they addressed the bot topic right away. They addressed what's happening with the banned accounts. They downplayed it and said maybe it's in relation really only a handful, but the handful obviously were suffering or are still suffering, and there are a lot of technical issues with that. But I hope I can abandon that topic and get bullish and motivated with everyone around me in a couple of days. So I want to see each and every one released, and then we get everything of that behind us, right? Yeah. But anyways, I think that's it. I think I will do a recap of the whole day, and yeah, I will leave that video online here, just as a proof of my first sound failure in the beginning. And yeah, I'd say hope you got out of that AMA what you needed. Hope you get your accounts unrestricted if you're still banned. We have seen a lot of people. Maybe it's worth following up your tickets if you haven't had a response in many days. And yeah, I think have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And also like, subscribe, subscribe and tap the bell so that you always get notified when I upload a video. I will have some pretty good videos coming out in the next days. I will work day and night on them. And so yeah, have yourselves a great day and see you in the next live stream. Bye. Bye.